You're beautiful.
Are you the one who sings?
Aye.
Are you my jolly sailor bold?
Aye, that'll be.
Scrum, comport yourself! Boys! There ain't much been given to me in my brief, miserable life. There's the truth in it. But by God, I'll have it said that Scrum had himself a kiss from a proper mermaid!
My heart is pierced by Cupid. I disdain all glittering gold. There is nothing can console me but my jolly sailor bold. Come, all you pretty fair maids, whoever you may be, love a jolly sailor bold that calms the raging sea. My heart is pierced by Cupid. I disdain all glittering gold. There is nothing can console me but my jolly sailor bold. My heart is pierced by Cupid. I disdain all glittering gold. There is nothing can console me but my jolly sailor bold.
Out upon it! It has begun!
Life does not. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Sirens versus mermaids. Stas, what are the difference? Let's talk about it. I love this topic, and maybe we'll split this up into a couple videos because I feel like I could run my mouth. So let's stay tuned to the end. If you do, please leave me a comment. But sirens versus mermaids. Now we're gonna talk about this spiritually. We could talk about this physically, but then people are gonna fight me about this on Side Talk. Mermaids, they're known for alluring. Yes, you will, both of them will sing, right? Whereas mermaids sing, you often see them depicted on, it's the ARIEL. They're depicted on a rock, brushing their beautiful hair. They're timid of people, obviously they don't want to be seen, but what can they offer you spiritually? Fame, fortune, money, beautiful looks. That it's truly a glamour, like beautiful looks and aura, allure, but there's like a slight innocence to it. High energy, it's really, really beautiful. They are still tricky in the sense of, if you find a mermaid's comb that wasn't left for you and you take it, yes, you might be able to find fame and fortune, but it is going to come crashing down, or like your love life falls apart, something like that. Now sirens, while they do allure, they have an alluring voice up front. Like they have, it's always a little bit eerie. Like you find yourself drawn to the ocean. You're not entirely sure why, but the hairs on the back of your neck and goosebumps are on your skin. Now, while you feel it's a sensual feeling, like in your core, you're like, oh my God, I have to. I am being honed in on this thing. Once you get there, the energy is darker. It's a little bit more sinister. They can offer you, it's dominance, it's allure, sensuality, but there's also a dangerousness that comes with sirens, that they are known for dragging people to their depths and doing whatever they want. Sometimes they grant people with the gift of healing and like foresight and some beautiful things. Other times, baby, it is a wild ride. It's a wild ride. So I adore both mermaids and sirens for separate things. We call them sea fetches, but I have sirens that I go, if I'm taking someone that I want to like hex, I'm feeding them to my sirens. Because we've talked about this, like think of the pressure of the water, the deeper that it gets, but then on top of it, spiritual layers of the things that go on there with the sirens, baby. If we're going for beauty, allure, fame, fortune, I'm reaching for mermaid stuff. If I'm going for allure in the type of dominance, sensuality, I'm stepping over someone, or maybe I'm dragging something with me or to me, sirens. So that's a quick little 3 minutes. Let's talk about, if you want to hear more, let's talk about it.
So I seen this comment. I was like, I definitely got to do a story time. So my mom has a cousin in Haiti, and he was at a marché, which you would call a farmer's market in English, right? They be having like all kinds of natural stuff out, herbs, medicine, vegetables, fruits, whatever you need for yourself. So he seen this fine ass girl. Mind you, as someone who's tapped in, I believe in like voodoo, hoodoo, shapeshifters, all that kind of stuff. So, bro, mermaids, they can shapeshift, right? They can shapeshift into very, very beautiful beings. So he sees this fine ass brown skinned girl with ginger hair. He walks up to her with his bicycle and he starts chopping shit up with her. Mind you, she's not saying a single word to this man. She's just shaking her head up and down and looks at him. So she has her sack. I don't know what they call it, honestly, in English, but it's like this big ass bowl or something, and they would put their stuff in, like in the island. One would carry it on their heads. So she finished getting all her stuff, right? He's like, let me carry this for her. So he puts it on his bicycle. They start walking. I think he was like trying to walk her home or something. So mind you, they're in Adéa, which means like the countryside or outside from the city. So they walking in the woods and they come across this big ass river. He looks at Shawty and he says, so how you finna get home or get across this river? Bro, tell me why Shawty walk up to the river, looks at kid, grabs her shit. The river splits open and she jumps in there. He had passed out and didn't speak to nobody for like a month straight. I think it was a month or 10 days. I'm not really sure. I gotta ask my mom. But he didn't speak to nobody for like a month or 10 days. Me personally, I probably would have jumped in with her. I'm surprised she didn't grab him and take him with her, because they're known for like kidnapping people. Because like what they would do, they would shapeshift into like a beautiful ass form or fine ass girl, and they would kidnap niggas in the water. But I'm gonna save that story for another day.
Humans falling in love with mermaids? Scary story time. I'm just kidding. This story's not actually scary, but it is one of those tale stories that I learned growing up in Haiti. You guys grew up learning about the three little piggies. I grew up learning about Tizan, and that's the name of the story. And throughout the rest of the story, we're gonna act like one of my eyes have lashes on. So once upon a time, in a small village in Haiti, there was a family, just a regular family. Mom and dad, a daughter and a son. Now, in that village, in order for you to have water, you had to go and fetch it. And it's usually the girl's job to get up in the morning and go fetch some water in the nearby spring. However, the spring that they usually get the water from, unfortunately, was not very clean water. But they don't really have a choice, because to get water from the next spring is like very, very far away. So whether they like it or not, they had to use that spring. So one day, she woke up as normal, went to get water from the spring, and as she was fetching the water, her gold ring that she was wearing fell in the spring. And she was just sitting there like, dang, I just lost my ring. How am I supposed to get that ring back? It's not like I can jump into the spring because it's very dirty. So she's kind of just there like, dang, I just really lost my ring. And out of nowhere, the water gets crystal clear. Like the cleanest you can see water ever. And then out came a merman. The merman started talking to her, and she started to have a conversation back, and they ended up talking for hours. And that day, for the first time ever, she was able to bring home clear water. But that caused a problem, because her parents are now like, where did you get clear water from? And this started to become like an everyday thing for a very long time. She just kept coming home with clear water. And whenever she would go to the spring, her and the merman would just talk for hours and hours about everything that they can talk about. Her parents would always question her, where are you getting clear water from? But she never told them. She never said anything. So this started to bother her mother. So one day, her mother told her little brother to follow her to the spring to find out how she's getting clear water. So he did exactly that. The next day, she's getting ready to go to the spring as usual, and he started to follow her closely behind, but she didn't notice. So when she got there, he saw the whole routine. She got there, she sat by the spring and started to sing a very specific song. The song goes like this. Tizan, who lives underwater, my good friend. Tizan, who lives underwater, my good friend. Tizan, my beloved traitor. Tizan, who lives underwater. And as soon as she stops singing the song, the water becomes crystal clear, and out came Tazan the merman. At this point, her little brother's mouth dropped. He stayed there for a little more and watched her speak to this merman as if that's her best friend, and then he ran home as fast as he could. As soon as he got home, he went up to his parents and said, "Mommy, Daddy, she has a boyfriend and he's a fish. A huge fish. And the fish can talk." And he tells the parent the whole routine that she does when she gets there and how the water becomes clear. So her parents are shocked. And they immediately went into, "We have to stop this." So her parents are shocked. And they immediately went into, "We have to stop this. We have to protect our daughter." So she finishes up as usual. She comes home and everything seems usual. The parents didn't tell her anything. They did not tell her that they knew. So the next day, as usual, she got ready. She went to the spring. She sat there. She sang the song, and out came Tazan. Only this time, Tazan was sad, and she can tell. So she asks him, "What's wrong? Like, are you okay?" And he says to her, "No, I'm not. I'm going to die. Your brother knows about us and told your parents, and they're going to kill me. They're planning on killing me today. When you get home today, they're going to send you to the market to buy groceries, and while you're gone, they're going to come and kill me. And you will know that I'm dead at exactly noon because on your left breast, there's going to be 3 drops of blood." Now, she's obviously devastated because they were in love, you know, and as much as she didn't want to leave, she had to. So she went back home, and exactly like Tazan said, as soon as she got home, they sent her to the market to buy groceries. In the whole walk to the market, she is sobbing, she's devastated, she's crying. Now, she tries to get the groceries as soon as she can so she can get back home before noon. Now, unfortunately, when she finally got everything on the list, it was noon. And she checked in her shirt, and indeed, there was 3 spots of dry blood. She screamed. She fell to her knees and started to sob, and she ran home as fast as she could. When she got home, she realized that her mother had cooked supper, so she went to the dinner table only to find that her mother cooked fish. And this just added to her pain and made her even more devastated. So she immediately ran to her room, tears in her eyes. She sat in her chair, she grabbed her comb and started to comb her hair while singing the song that she usually sings so Tazan can come out. She was singing that song over and over. And the more she was singing, it was as if the earth was being opened up and started to swallow her. But it was so slow that she didn't even notice that she was going down. She went all the way down until there was only a strand of her hair left on the ground. So her little brother, feeling a bit guilty, came to her room to check on her, only to find a strand of his sister's hair into the ground. So he immediately ran to his parents and told them, and they came to the room and they realized what happened, and obviously they were devastated because that was their daughter. In their mind, they think that because they killed that mermaid, he killed her. However, that was far from the case. She did not die. Tazan descended her into the ground because that was the only way that they can be together. Little did the parents know, they could not kill Tazan because he was a merman, a magical merman. What they also didn't know was that Tazan was actually, once upon a time, a very handsome young boy that used to also live in the village, but he got cursed by a voodoo priest and got turned into a merman. But what the voodoo priest didn't know was that he still had feelings and that he can fall in love. And the daughter now lives with Tazan underwater, happily ever after. The end. I hope y'all enjoy this little tale. There's so many stories like that I learned growing up in Haiti. I just have to remember them and find them. This one was a book. If you guys want more stories like this, please let me know. I will find them, reread them so I can tell you guys.
The marine kingdom. Let's talk about it. Now, when it comes down to the ocean, I believe anything is possible. simply because there's only 5% of the ocean that's discovered. So 95% is unknown. Now, the marine kingdom is basically this underwater kingdom that is basically like another world. Like, I'm talking about another dimension, another portal, another realm, whatever you want to call it, but it's known to be underwater and filled with things that you couldn't even imagine. Now, many people believe that the marine kingdom and the marine spirits that resides there are very satanic. Now, the marine spirits are the mermaids or the sirens or the creepy different sea creatures that you couldn't even think of. Rumor has it that the marine kingdom is filled with type of sea creatures that you couldn't even put together. You wouldn't have even ever thought of that. You might see a creature that has the head of a human and the body of an octopus. But the creatures that live there can take on many forms, like the mermaids or sirens, for example. They are not pretty. They are not what you think. But when these creatures come on land and they want to cause chaos and seduce and do all this lust, that is when they take on the form of this beautiful, angelic-like creature or woman or whatever they appear themselves to you as. 9 times out of 10, they lure men to their destruction, and they'll just take them down there in their little kingdom and enslave them or do whatever they want with it. But like I said, rumor has it these creatures are supposed to be very demonic, hence the name the underworld, and that is where they live. But I believe these creatures are like human in a way. Some are good and some are bad. Now let me know if y'all want to hear more about the marine kingdom. Let's talk about the most popular and powerful mermaid in history, and that is Mami Wata. And this one was highly requested. So let's talk about it. Now, her name says it all. Mami Wata is the mother of the sea, and she is essential in different parts of Africa, like South Africa, the Caribbean, and some parts of North and South America. She is known to be very seductive and beautiful, and is often associated with wealth and prosperity. She is said to have the power to heal the sick and grant wishes. And she is known to live in the rivers, lakes, and other bodies of the water. Now, she is depicted as a mermaid, but she has the ability to transform and shapeshift into different sea creatures. Some say she has the lower body of a big fish, and some say she has the lower body of a large serpent, which is a big snake. And in a lot of depictions, she's always associated and accompanied with a large snake wrapped around her. And she's sometimes carrying a golden comb and a beautiful mirror. And many followers seek her help by dancing, doing rituals, and bringing her offerings. And some of them even enter a trance when they're doing these things. But hundreds of years ago, numerous of water spirits were said to live in West Africa. And in lots of those stories in the different parts of Africa, most of them look, like I said, large snakes or even crocodiles, but had the upper body of a beautiful, enchanting woman. But then over the years, they started depicting them as mermaids and these beautiful, like, fish-like women. So over the time, like, the Europeans basically kind of made these mermaids look like mermaids because they really, like I said, they really look like snakes kind of in a way. But Mami Wata have followers in over 20 different countries in West and Central of South of Africa. Now, she can be very helpful. Like I said, she can wish you and grant all kinds of amazing things. Now, she can be great and wish you all kinds of beautiful things, but she also is known to have a temper and can lure people underwater to their deaths. And in some cases, she might grant people with the ability to heal and be spiritual healers. And in some stories, they say that she can be very jealous and punish people if they cross her. But like I said, this is the mermaid. And a lot of people just think that this mermaid stuff is just all tales. But these people in different parts of the world really worship these creatures. And they are very real. Like I stated before, there's just too many countries across the world that have similar tales and similar beings. And there's just too much water that's undiscovered for it to not be true. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. And stay tuned for more of my mermaid tales from around the globe. Let's talk about these mermaids in Zimbabwe. Now, I talk a lot about the mermaids and river mamas in Jamaica and Haiti, but I never talked about the ones that's in Zimbabwe, y'all. Like, there was a big situation with these mermaids here not too long ago. Now, let's get into it. Now, in landlocked Zimbabwe, folklore has not only just said that mermaids exist, but they state that they have supernatural abilities. And the mythical creatures have a bad reputation there. Like, people believe that they are very demonic. And some even believe that they're responsible for kidnapping, torture, and murder. And I believe it was in like 2012, they was trying to install some pumps for irrigation at a dam near the Eastern Highlands. But the construction had to be ended early simply because they were spotting lots of mermaids. Like, the mermaids were bothering the workers that was installing the water pumps. Like, these workers were so frightened, y'all. Like, they even sent divers down to investigate what was going on and what was the holdup on this pump. But the divers instantly came back and said that they would never go near that again. And they even stated how they hired Caucasian people simply because they was thinking that their boys just didn't want to work. But the Caucasian men that they hired even returned the same way that the workers did, saying that they would not return or work there again, y'all. Like, they were that frightened. And all of this was resolved once they hired a spiritual and traditional healer to basically conduct the ritual. And it was stated on some resources that the traditional leader held a ceremony that basically they had to like slaughter cattle and brew beer to appease the water spirits, y'all. But this whole situation was crazy because, like I said, there was many workers and people that spotted these creatures. And there has been many legends and stories in this area where people have spotted mermaids, because just because a mermaid take you doesn't mean that you won't come back. Sometimes they will bring you back. Like, many people in the area believe that if a mermaid take you, they will give you the ability to live like them. You will eat like them. You will literally do everything like them. And they might bring you back and grant you with some type of abilities if you come back. But this whole case was wild because this dam was literally plagued with mermaids. They literally had to get a spiritual team to make these mermaids like leave these workers alone so these people can have some irrigated water. But let me know if y'all ever heard about these mermaids in Zimbabwe, because this whole situation was crazy and it wasn't that long ago. Y'all wanted to hear more about the mermaid stories in Zimbabwe? So let's talk about it. So rumor has it there was a woman that spent over 40 years with mermaids and she was brought back. And I know some of y'all are like, what? That don't even make sense. But in a lot of these Caribbean and African countries, stuff like this is not that crazy, y'all. In a lot of the Zimbabwean mythology, mermaids appear as aquatic creatures with the upper body of a female human and the lower body of a big fish, right? And like most worldwide mermaid tales, they're known to lure women and men with their, soothing and beautiful music. But here's the thing, in some legends, when they take people, they'll have them down there for decades before bringing them back, if they choose to bring them back. And it was a woman that literally spent over 40 years with them. She was snatched by one in the year of 1982 at the age of 8 years old, y'all. And the story gets weirder. She looks like she's in her 20s, y'all. Like, she literally looked like she's a teenager. And if you are brought back to the surface from their underwater world, you will come back as a traditional healer. Some even say if you come back, you might come back mute, but you will have some type of power that they gave you. And like I said, most people, especially people in Zimbabwe, believe that if you come back, you become a traditional healer. And the lady that was kidnapped while she was 8 years old, her family did all type of offerings and ceremonies. I'm talking about often to try to bring her back and try to, make different deals with these mermaids. And she finally was brought back after 40 years. And like I said, the locals said she did not age much. And a neighbor said she only eats specific meals. And some people say that she came back unable to talk, like she was mute. Now, some of the cases when people come back mute, they can, begin to talk again. But sometimes it just takes them a while, or sometimes they might never be able to talk again. Some say the lady that went missing, like, she'll mysteriously disappear throughout the day. And she can travel vast distances without a car. But some people say that she can eat regular food and that she can talk. So those are just rumors as well. But there's just been a lot that went on with this case. But she most definitely was taken by these creatures and was brought back. And people say that whenever a person is kidnapped by these creatures, or if they think that their child or family member has been snatched up by one, you're not supposed to grieve, you're not supposed to mourn, and you're not supposed to cry. And I know that's easier said than done, but you're just not supposed to. If you don't do that stuff and you keep trying to make amends with them and you keep doing these ceremonies and offerings, they will bring them back and they might grant them with riches. And like I said, they might become a very known traditional healer. But this was a true story. Some of y'all might have heard about it. Some of y'all might haven't. It took me a lot to find a little bit of information on it, but you can look it up and there's actually videos on YouTube of people talking about it. There's also another lady on here that talks about the mermaids in Zimbabwe as well, so y'all can go check out her videos. So let me know what y'all think in the comments, or if y'all ever heard this story or something similar, because I would love to hear more. Let's talk about the Hawaiian mermaid. Her name is Moana Nui Ka Lahua. And that name sounds familiar, right? Now let's talk about it. Moana was the water goddess of the Hawaiian Islands. And the Disney film Moana is based on this Polynesian legend. And Moana guards the waters of the Hawaiian island with the help of these two shark gods, not like the pig and the rooster on the movie that helped Moana. But according to some legends, Moana appeared as a fish. In other legends, she was half human, half fish hybrid, so in other words, a mermaid. And she had the power to summon storms whenever she wanted. And according to legend, she wasn't always the well-mannered goddess as depicted on the Disney film Moana. Like many other mermaids and goddesses, she could be mischievous and playful. But however, there was one god who could catch Moana, and that was Maui. And in the real legend, Maui is who killed Moana. Maui was the fisherman god, and one day she found him basically fishing in her realm and territory. And when she discovered that, she was basically pissed. So what she did was she took his magical fishing hook and she basically placed it under this big rock, which pissed him off. So as revenge, he caught her and dragged her to shore. That's when she dried out and died because, she is a big mermaid and she needs to be in the water. But it was said that Maui was a trickster god as well, and he wasn't going to take Moana stealing his fishing rod lightly. However, in the legend, it states that he still respected her, basically buried her body and built a shrine in her honor. And where he buried her, allegedly, this very sacred tree in Hawaii grew in that place. And the actual place Maui in Hawaii is supposed to be named after the god Maui. And that is the true legend of the Hawaiian mermaid goddess Moana. And I also find it crazy how basically Disney took this and made it into a movie based off this beautiful woman that was obsessed with the water. And they basically just did their own twist to it. But yeah, a lot of people didn't know that this Disney movie was based off a real Polynesian and Hawaiian legend. But stay tuned for more of my mermaid stories and tales across the globe. And don't forget to request more countries and areas of different mermaid tales y'all would like for me to talk about next. And let me know what y'all think in the comments. Let's talk about these mermaids in Japan. And they are called aningyo. And Japanese records over the centuries includes various sightings and stories connected to them. Now let's talk about it. Now the name ningyo means fish human. And as it states in the name, it's a creature with both human and fish-like creatures. And the name is also translated as mermaid, even though it's not gender specific, so it can mean merman as well. And when I tell y'all these creatures are nothing to play with, y'all, for centuries, fishermen and sailors have seen these creatures. And it is said if you catch one of these mermaids, it brings on a very bad omen. And they can cause storms, shipwrecks, death and misfortune, and just all kinds of natural disasters that can wipe out towns and just crazy stuff. And eating them is even worse. It is said that if you eat the flesh of a niño, you will be granted with immortality. There's been cases where there was a nun that people believe lived up to 800 to 1,000 years old. I believe her father came across some niño meat and made a mistake and gave it to the daughter, and the daughter ate it, and she basically, her age process slowed down. She was extremely beautiful. She was granted with beautiful youth, but also internal sorrow. Everyone she knows and love, passed away, and she was just here forever and ever, just miserable. All because she ate some good old mermaid flesh. And this is an earlier depiction of more so what these creatures look like. As the tale grew popular and popular over the centuries, they made it look more like mermaid-like, but they really was more fish and just human head. So y'all could see how a fisherman, if they're fishing in the deep sea, they would probably think this is a fish until they look at it, and then they look at it and they drop them right on back. These fishermen, when they seen them, they threw them right back in the water because, like I said, everybody knew that it brung a bad omen. But I just find it so fascinating how in folklore and mythology in every country, there's always similar creatures that have the same similarities. And I have a surprise for y'all. I'm gonna make a whole series with different mermaids and tales all over the globe because I normally talk about the ones just in the Caribbean and African areas. So now we're gonna be talking about mermaids global. So stay tuned. And let me know what y'all think about this in the comments.
You guys were down for more mermaid talk. Let's keep going. Today we're going to talk about mermaid combs. And this is such an interesting topic to me. It is hard to find resources on these things, so forgive me, as lots of them are first-person accounts that have just been written on like Reddit and things, but I stand behind them fully. It is said that mermaids can bring you immense fame, fortune, money, power, a lot of amazing things, if they're not dragging you to the depths. It is said if you find a mermaid's comb and take it home with you, you will be graced with all of those things: fame, fortune, money, wealth beyond your wildest dreams. However, if it wasn't meant for you, you'll go crazy. Your life will turn into a living hell. You'll start going insane until you bring that back and beg the siren, because it's not a mermaid, or mermaid, for forgiveness. This is the thing with mermaids. They're very specific about what they want to give and to who. If it's not yours, they'll make it known.
Hey Zen Tribe, I want to know if you guys have been connecting with mermaids recently. I've been having continuous dreams, like for the past week and a half, almost 2 weeks now, where I am communicating with mermaids and I'm swimming with them and they're just talking to me. In one particular dream, I was actually led to this cave, and in this cave I actually kind of fell like really deep down, and there was a cove, and there was a bag of runes sitting next to me. This woman that was down there told me to pick a few runes that stood out to me. So I picked one in the corner, which caught my eye, and it actually had a word written on it, but it wasn't English. It had to be written in some kind of Celtic language. Each rune corresponded with a certain page inside of this really old black book of creatures. And the rune that I happened to pick out corresponded with mermaids, this page about mermaids. And I just broke down in tears. And they weren't necessarily sad tears, like a remembrance, like, oh my God, I missed those days. And in the cove, these two mermaids, a woman and a male, swam up to the surface, super excited to greet me. And they actually were speaking to me as if they've known me from like other lives. They were saying how it's been a long time. They were saying how different I look in this form, specifically my hair. How interesting it was to see me with hair that looks like this in this form. A little bit of backstory. I actually had a past life regression and I was an aquatic being. I wasn't specifically a mermaid, but I remember that I did have like webbed fingers and my skin was kind of like a bluish gray tone and I was completely bald. But I was an aquatic being. So they were actually making a joke referring to that lifetime where I was bald. This dream was super vivid. They even let me feel like their tail, you know, and I felt at the end like how thin it was, and it was just mind-blowingly amazing. And when I woke up that morning, I actually sat in meditation, and I use hape medicine when I am meditating, and I went deep into a meditation and ended up in that same exact cove. This time, the mermaids told me to jump in, so I jumped in the water, and they held my hand, and we swam all the way down somewhere. And they gave me this brass ring with a pearl on top of it, and they put it on my middle finger, and they said, hey, whenever you feel like you want to communicate with us, use this, use this piece of jewelry. I haven't manifested the physical form of this ring yet, but I did go out and get some pearl earrings, and it actually has enhanced my clairaudience so much. I pretty much use my earrings like how they wanted me to use the ring. There's a lot more to this, but it was such a beautiful experience.
We're back with more crazy mermaid stories, and this one is wild. So let's talk about it. Mario Moreno, which is known as Cantinflas, was an extremely popular Mexican comedian and actor. But not only was he extremely popular and wealthy and just well known all over Mexico, he had an unusual obsession with mermaids, y'all. Like, obsessed to the point where he wanted a mermaid to be his wife. Yeah. So legend has it, one night he was on a boat or on a ship or something, and he was just out there enjoying his quiet time, and he heard some type of enchanting, soothing song that instantly had him mesmerized. And when he looked out, it was some mermaids, y'all. But it was no coincidence that these mermaids basically came out there where he was. Rumor has it that they basically chose him for a reason, simply because of his influence and his popularity. Like, y'all gotta think, these are ancient creatures. They've been around forever and they know everything. So they basically used him to, be the voice and to put out certain messages. They said he put a bunch of different hidden little stuff in some of his scripts. So after that, he allegedly reached out to some mysterious man, y'all. He told him about his obsessions and his wish to basically be in cahoots with these mermaids and that he want to be around them and marry them. So I'm assuming he was some kind of witch or some type of man that does magic. So what he did was he told him to get this home on the beach in Acapulco. And he also told him to get this statue of himself and have it facing towards the ocean, y'all. So this is like the real statue that is at his home. And he also had to place different like marine spirits and these mermaid statues all around his home as well. And this is a better look at his home as well. You can see how like he have all these different pools, which are saltwater pools connected to the ocean, so the mermaids can have access to come in. And rumor has it he used to have these elaborate parties and the mermaids would be the guest of honor. They would literally come and visit him basically every night. And now rumor has it that these mermaids come every night around 2 or 3 a.m. and parlay around his statue looking for him because he's passed away. And some say in the middle of the night, you can see his statue take human form and jump into the sea. And there's been lots of videos of people like posting up and camping out to witness, the statue supposedly turn into human form and go into the ocean. There's also rumors that he had a girlfriend that was a mermaid as well. This whole story was absolutely crazy, but it's very true, y'all. This man had a complete obsession with these mermaids and he supposedly made a deal and he was connected with them for life. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments or if y'all heard anything about it because this story is very wild.
And we just out here. We're chilling. We're out here chilling. I hear it. I hear him. Where's she at? What the fuck is that noise, bro? What is that noise? Where are you? This is crazy. I heard it. I heard it. I hear it. Oh my God. That's crazy. That's nuts. That's crazy. What the fuck is that noise, bro? What is that noise? Where are you? This is crazy. I heard it. I heard it. I hear it. Oh my God. That's crazy. That's nuts. This is crazy. I heard it. I heard it. I hear it. Oh my God. That's crazy. That's nuts. That's crazy. Can you hear me? Yo, that shit was instantaneous, bro. Oh, I gotta watch my step out here, man. God damn.
there. I got another one over here. What are those? On each side of the boat? What are those trails called? What's something swimming fast underneath that water? Something swimming real fast underneath that water. I hear him. Where's she at? What the fuck is that noise, bro? What is that noise? Where are you? This is crazy. I heard it. I heard it. I hear it. Oh my God. Mr. Krabs? Huh, Mr. Krabs? Tell him, Mr. Krabs. Actually, you know what, homie? I'm gonna throw you back in your ocean. Because we're not catching you. Be free. Be free, homie. Sometimes you gotta let him free, you know? Sometimes you just gotta let him roam free. Let's just walk right back. Let's see if we can find... Oh! Yo! Oh, hell no! Wait, no! No fucking way! Wait, I just threw this overboard. Y'all saw me throw it overboard. This, are you fucking kidding me? That did not just... Sauce 90, you know what it is, man. Just finished another fishing trip. Whole fishing trip. Heard no noises whatsoever. Until we got into unload. Peep this video. Crazy. At the docks though? Hey yo, you hear that? I know what the fuck that is. I know what the fuck that is. That bitch followed me the fuck in. Oh, at the docks though? No way. No way. Source 90. The government is legit here. Peep game, let's be sneaky. That was full of water. My pants are wet. Cut! Source 90. Dry pants now. Let's check out these motherfuckers. You're gonna be out here doing testing. Testing what? What the fuck are you guys testing? That's what I want to know. We all know Source 90 has heard certain things out in the ocean, and then my TikTok gets banned, and then the government shows up my boat. It's too many fucking coincidences. So I came into work today. Look who's back. Look who's back. Look what's back on my fucking boat.